Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. And for this Reseller Friday, I want to talk to you about getting to work. These videos are for Friday and they come out at noon. For many people, many resellers, after noon on Friday, they're starting to taper off. The weekend, they're not going to be doing a whole lot. Sunday, they might be doing nothing at all. But I want to encourage you to not start slacking off and start going backwards, cutting corners here and there, doing less than you would normally do. I want to encourage you for this weekend to do more, to start ramping things up. Don't, after you go watch this video, go and say, well, I could just always list tomorrow. Set a listing goal and reach that goal each and every day. Set a sourcing goal. If you haven't sourced in a while, go out there and source some good items. If you have a pile of items that aren't listed that you've already sourced, get them listed. This is a time to do more, not to shrink back, not to pull back, not to be less, but to be more. And here's an important reason why. There are millions of people online reselling, some of them selling the exact same items you're selling, and they are not going to be doing this. Most of them will be pulling back. Most of them will be making excuses. Most of them will be talking about how they're going to relax on the weekend. Most of them will not be doing more. They will not be more. They will just lapse right back into mediocrity. And if you read my book, Work Smarter and Harder, you'll know in there that I talk about this and about how when people shrink back, they try to take little breaks. They have their weekends off and they're doing all this. It doesn't work for their betterment. It doesn't produce a better result in their life. It produces worse results. And I've said this so many times over the years, but people lose momentum. They take a day or two off on the weekends, they lose all their momentum, and so Monday starts up, and they're basically trying to recover and get back to where they were. And if you do that every single week, week in and week out, your results are going to be way worse than the person who is consistently putting in the work each and every day, getting stuff done and not shrinking back. And I know people don't want to hear this in many cases. So many resellers get into reselling because they want to do something easy. They think it's going to be easy money. Now, I'm not telling you it's hard, but they're looking towards it as a method of doing less, where I look towards it as a method of doing more. I don't want to do less. Now, of course, I don't want to do things for no reason. I don't want to work inefficiently or ineffectively. I'm not talking about anything like that. But if I can get 100 listings done in 4 hours, why would I only work 4 hours? Why wouldn't I work 8 or 12 hours and get more done? And this is many people's mindset is not thinking like that. They're just thinking, what is the minimum I can do? If you told them you can make $1,000 an hour, many of them would just look and say, okay, what are my bills? I only need $4,000 to get by, so I'll just work for 4 hours a month. Where I'm thinking, okay, how can I work 24 hours a day? Can I hire somebody to work the 4 hours I'm asleep? And I would be getting $24,000 a day. That's a different way of looking at things. And so many people in the reselling community are not looking at things that way. They're looking to do the least amount. They're looking to do the bare minimum. And I understand that some people, they're just doing it part-time, and I'm not critiquing that. That's perfectly fine. But if you're in this and you want to be full-time, or you are full-time, especially if you are full-time, this is what you do as a living for the most part, you need to be giving your all. And I talk about this in my videos a lot, but we ought to be doing all things unto the Lord. We should not be doing things lazy or half-heartedly or shrinking back or trying to see what's the bare minimum we can do to get by. That's an employee mentality. So many employees go to work each day, they don't even like their jobs, and they go there and they do just enough to avoid getting fired, just enough to maybe get a performance bonus at the end of the year. But they don't perform better. They don't strive to be the best they could possibly be. They don't each day go in striving to do the absolute maximum they can do. They scroll social media, they talk to employees, they do all kinds of stuff. That's not what you should be doing in your reselling business. You need to be putting forth all of your effort. You can't have this employee mentality. You can't have this mentality of just scraping by, this mentality of just doing the bare minimum to get by. In this business, if you put in more work, you will get more results out. And you don't get that in an employee relationship. And so many people are still stuck in that mentality where they're thinking the bare minimum. They're thinking, I can just do just enough to get by. Because you never had a job, if you worked for someone else, where putting in more effort got you better results. It may get you a pat in the back, but it may not get you any more money. It may not get you any more of a promotion or anything like that. In reselling, you are the limiter on what you can do. You limit that. You set the limit. Is the sky the limit, or is the gutter the limit? Because many resellers are in the gutter yelling about how the platform charges too much, or sales are slow, or some are slowed down, or this or that. The people who are successful aren't whining about that stuff. They're not even fretting and thinking about it at all. They're out there doing and overcoming any obstacles that may come their way. Instead of whining about the obstacles, or in many cases not even real obstacles, they're just a figment of people's imagination, something they talk themselves into. They tell themselves there's summer slowdown, and of course there are actual economic things going on in the summertime that make sales online slower. But this is important. Those people also do things that make them get worse sales, make them get fewer sales. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every summer, you know what I do? I ramp things up. I see how much more can I do? What more can be done to be even more successful? And you know what happens? You know what my charts look like in the summer? Is there a big drop down in sales? No, there's an increase. I've never experienced a summer sales slowdown. Why? Because I don't allow it to affect my business. My business isn't controlled by what other people are doing. It isn't controlled by the economy. And these are all things people point to and make excuses for, because in the reality they're living in, this mediocre reality, everything's affected by other people. But you can choose to perform better. You can choose to conquer your reality and be victorious. But you're going to have the faith to do it and put in the effort to get the results you want. So my friend, I want to encourage you. Put in the work. Go out and work. Don't shrink back. Don't let this be your excuse to pull back and do less. Go out there and do even more. And make this weekend the best weekend you ever had in your reselling business. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.